Introducing the Evolution iPhone application. The next generation video game application for hardcore gamers. Download the Evolution application for free.
I'm here with Matt Caroso, art director on Conduit 2, okay, and he's here to talk to us about Conduit 2. The game is looking absolutely amazing, and also he has a surprise for us. All right, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a great show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well, man. The show has been exciting, and we couldn't wait to get here to talk about Conduit 2, and maybe a new peripheral that might be coming, okay? So can you tell us a little about that?
Sure, definitely. Well, if you remember from the first Conduit, we took a really great advantage of the Wii Remote. So this time out, we're using the Wii Remote similar to how we did in the first game, but with the addition of Wii Motion Plus, which is a very exciting accessory. It gives us a little better range of motion. But in addition to that, we're not just stopping there. We're also including a new headset device that will be available for Nintendo Wii very soon. What's great about this is just like the Wii Speak accessory, the headset device will let you talk to your players that you're playing with online, but as opposed to doing it openly to the room, now just like some of the games that maybe you've played in the past that you really enjoyed featuring a headset, you can do it a lot more like some of the more competitive first-person shooters out there. So it's really awesome. We're very excited about it.
Man, that's awesome. Now, tell me something. Does the headset have a particular name to it?
The headset's name is the... What is it?
Headbanger. The Headbanger?
The Headbanger headset.
Headbanger headset. I like that name, man. It looks like it's very comfortable. So definitely you guys have to look out for this headset. You guys will love it.
Yeah, it's extremely new, so even the name is very new to all of us. So.
That's awesome. So let me ask you, with the game Conduit 2,
right?
Okay, it's it's a first-person shooter,
right,
on the Wii. Now, what new things have you added to the game to make it a different, or I should say, a more robust experience from the first game?
Right. So it's very easy to take a game like Conduit and just keep adding cooler and cooler stuff onto it. So with the first game, we made a really cool first-person shooter that worked really well for the system and great with the control and had good multiplayer. So at this time out, we said, well, we've got a great game base to start with. How do we take this and make it into something that players can really dig into for the next rev? So what we're doing with Conduit 2 is advancing our technology a bit so we can do some extra special things with our level designs. So for example, this time out we're able to do better stuff with our level creation tools. So this time we can actually create levels that allow you to backtrack so that you can do branching in your pathing, so you can go forward and back, over and under and all around, which gives you a lot better level design and just a lot more stuff that you can interact with. There's primary and secondary missions, so we can take advantage of those new level features that we built in. So that way, when you play through a level, you can take on the primary missions, but then you can choose to do the secondary missions, which of course leads you to things like weapon upgrades, character upgrades, and lots of cool stuff that you can find along the way. Everything ends up leading back to the multiplayer, though, with Conduit 2. So the Conduit 2 has an XP system built in, so that as you're playing multiplayer, and as you're playing Team Invasion mode, which is our new feature that we built in, which is sort of a monster horde mode with a continuous waves of enemies trying to take you over, you and your friends are playing online cooperative to take down the monsters. Well, just like multiplayer, as you're defeating the enemies, you're taking on XP, which you can bring back into your store, and you can purchase perk upgrades for your character so that you can do things like robot legs, which makes the character run faster. You can make your character jump higher, better armor, and you can of course change your weapon sets going into multiplayer. So you can mix and match your character to be more to your liking when you're playing a multiplayer game. So this is something we think players are really going to love, because when they play multiplayer, they're going to be able to try loads of different combinations of different stuff when they go into the game, and it's going to give a lot more replay value and a lot more value for players.
So tell me something, with the multiplayer, how many players max can play online?
Just like the first Conduit, where we chose to go with 12 players online simultaneously. 6 on 6, okay. Or you can mix and match in different varieties.
Okay, so with the story mode, okay, in Conduit, how does it play with Conduit 2, excuse me, how does it play apart with Conduit 1, branching into Conduit 2? Is it a different story? How does that work?
Right, so the story is continuing right after the first game, so I don't want to give it away for folks out there who may not have finished the first game, but when you play the sequel, right away you'll know precisely what happened to Mr. Ford, and he finds himself waking up on an oil derrick in the middle of the ocean, and of course he's surrounded by the enemy, the Trust, who's running this derrick. But then of course bigger monsters and badder stuff begins to happen, and Mr. Ford quickly begins to realize that the trust is not his only enemy and that things are only getting worse.
Wow, that sounds exciting. Okay, now, because we have a lot of fans who are really into the online mode, excited about the online mode, what's going to happen with that, can we expect, of course the question you probably can't answer, can we expect some downloadable content coming after you launch the game?
Right now, I'm not so certain that we're doing much in terms of downloadable content.
Okay.
And I think as far as the rest of all the details, I'd rather wait to another time until that actually gets officially announced in some press release.
Not a problem, not a problem. So earlier you mentioned that the game on the single player experience will definitely compliment you when you go online.
Right.
Okay, now, is it going to be seamless where everything that I acquire from the single player standpoint, will that be something that I can take with me online so I can kick my buddy's butt? I mean,
that's right.
Really?
So it gives you more incentive to play the single player game, find cool stuff along the way, so that when you do go kick your buddy's butt, you have special stuff that you found playing the single player game that he might not have because he still has to finish the campaign.
Okay, I like that because what that does, that forces players, because nowadays people will play a game like, okay, I won't mention any games, okay? Let's talk about Conduit 2. But games will come out where guys and girls will just jump right on the multiplayer and not work on the single player. And myself, I kind of like the single player first, then go online, it's like a whole nother game, okay? So I like the fact that you guys are forcing that so that they'll be able to just grasp the single player and then get good with the controls so they can shoot the enemy. Then when they go online, they've already been there, done that. Tell me something about the AI in the single player. Is it more robust than the first game?
Okay, let me cover our first topic here.
Okay.
Going back to what you had said, for those gamers out there right now who are listening to this interview and groaning and saying, oh, high voltage, don't force us into anything. When you're playing the multiplayer game, there's still going to be lots of cool stuff for you to unlock.
Okay.
So you won't be cheated in any way. The single player and the multiplayer are going to work together, but everything is going to be very seamless, like you said, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then, and then going back to your other question of, what was
as far as the AI with the enemy in the single player mode? Is it going to be more, I'm pretty sure it is, more robust and built up than the first game?
Right. So, you know, of course, some of the criticisms, like any game, including ours, received on our first game, was some of the AI, you know, could have done a bit more than it did. So this time out, of course, AI has been a big focus for Conduit 2. So what we've done is we've added new behaviors for the characters so that they're smarter and that they are much more realistic seeming to the player. In addition to that, they have some smart new behaviors so that they change their behaviors based on weapons. So whereas, you know, maybe in the first game a character may have behaved a certain way based on his character class, this time out that character will behave a certain way based on his character class. However, if he has a weapon like shotgun, that's factored into his behavior, and then he recognizes that he needs to run up and try to blast you at short range. So there's a lot more going on under the hood.
Really?
Right.
Well, man, I'm going to tell you now, graphically it looks better.
Thank you.
The sound is loud here at E3, you guys. It's super loud, and I can still get a little feel as far as the sound quality, what's going on. It looks amazing, man. I mean, is there some type of special engine? Is it the same engine from the first game that you upgraded? How's that working out, man?
Well, it's the same Quantum 3 engine from the first game, and if you remember, all the cool stuff we did in the first game carries over into the sequel. We did do some cool new stuff in addition to that, and then a lot of some of the under-the-hood stuff that we've done to make our level designs better have just allowed us to make better geometry and textures for our characters and worlds, so everything is actually more detailed this time out. Plus, we do a lot more streaming, so we're able to get more detail in the world, and just everything is coming together, and yes, we are truly pleased with how it's all working out. Also, another thing on the art side, we've done a lot with the art to make sure that there's very inspired art going into the game, that there's locations that players can really dig into and really love, very memorable locations. Conduit 2 is definitely everything that we want it to be.
That's wonderful, man. And you know what? It's looking like you guys are trying to be the king of the hill, first-person shooters on the Wii, man. So I got to say congratulations right now, even before the game comes out. And again, the game launches when?
The game launches later this year-ish.
You heard it here first. The Evolution Network. Thank you so much, man.